Well, I think the first time I was interested in pronghorn was many years ago when my daughters and I, we traveled across Wyoming and we saw pronghorn by the side of the road.
We have over 500,000 pronghorn in Wyoming. We currently have a lot of hunters that pursue pronghorn. We raise a lot of revenue for the department through license sales, and we've got really healthy pronghorn populations in the state.
It's one of the unique things about pronghorn is that you can actually see live animals in the wild.
Well, I can tell you how my daughter 3 years ago described him. What's that deer have a diaper on for?
Yeah, I think some people do just think they're another deer, but of course it's a totally different family, and they're unique into themselves. And when you look at them close, they really don't look that close to a deer. You know, there's a lot of difference. They have the large prong. The horn itself is actually made out of compressed hair that's grown in a little different form, so it's not really a horn like you would see on a bison or even an antler like you'd see in a deer. And those horns that you see on the males actually drop off every year and they're regrown the following spring.
Carbon County is a diamond in the rough, is pretty much what I say in the beginning. You can be in Seminole in 20 minutes on the water. You can actually be up in the Sierra Madres in another 20 minutes. You can go from skiing to boating in a matter of minutes.
That's one of the things that's interesting about Carbon County. It's relatively unknown outside of Carbon County, but it has a tremendous amount of beautiful scenery and unique things about the terrain.
Carbon County is a high plains area. It's got beautiful landscapes and vistas. You know, it's very open, so you often see a lot of the sky and a lot of the cloud formations. It really has a lot of abundant wildlife. You know, at first, you just drive through from the interstate, you don't think there's that much there, but you get a little bit away from that interstate and you'll find that there's a lot of wildlife: sage grouse, pronghorn, mule deer, elk, and a whole variety of other smaller animals and birds that live in Carbon County.
People have told me that when I tell them I'm representing Carbon County, they're like, "Oh, I've been to Carbon County. I drove through Rawlins on the interstate." And then I have to tell them, "No, you have to get off the interstate to see Carbon County." The interstate was built so that you could see Elk Mountain, and that's about the only visible attraction that you can really see from the interstate. So you have to get off on the side roads, get off the beaten path, get down to the little towns, go meet the people.
We've got the Platte River that runs through it, and there's some great fishing not too far off. And there's beautiful vistas and good camping and hunting opportunities very close to Carbon County, and lots of public land. And so that land belongs to all the people of the U.S. and is available for their use. You have to have maps to know where you're going, make sure you're in the right spot, but there's great opportunities for people to recreate in Carbon County.
We actually work on the economic development of downtown Rawlins. We work with the business owners, the building owners, working on rehabbing their buildings, trying to get them back to its pure integrity of the early 1900s. We work on events, bringing events and people into downtown, but more the quality of life. You think about what a community has, and it's downtown and the quality of life in the core of a community. So we have everything from a farmer's market to great shopping. We have a great Thai restaurant, a little bit of everything in Rawlins, Wyoming.
They'll stop here because it's time for fuel, it's time for lunch, it's time for an overnight stay, or it's time for a rest stop for those that are traveling.
And so what we try to do is offer things. Why should they stop? Why should they get off I-80? Why should there be a visitor center? Why should there be a gallery or a great place to eat?
Since there is no significant visitor center in south central Wyoming, there's one 200 miles to the west and there's one 150 miles to the east. This would be probably the information point for all of south central Wyoming.
We're also the point where those that are coming from the east heading to Yellowstone are going to exit here. So we have a lot of automobile traffic through the community.
North or south off of the interstate, you'll find all these really unique little communities.
If we can get them to stop, then we've got them sucked in, because once people stop in Rawlins and Carbon County, they want to stay.
There is no national interpretive center for the pronghorn, and yet the pronghorn is one of the unique species to North America. It has been, pronghorn has been here in North America since the time of the Ice Ages. They were here with the mammoths and the saber-toothed tigers.
They are a free-roaming animal. In fact, don't do very well in captivity at all. They're very well adapted to the open plains. They use their speed as a way to escape predators, and it's something that's evolved with the pronghorn over many years. And so even the fawns at a very early age are very difficult to catch after a few days because they have a lot of speed and very intense bursts of speed. They use their eyes to look for danger, and when they see danger, they avoid it by running.
The pronghorn is used in several agencies throughout Carbon County as their identifying mark as well, because we're pretty much known for being the home of the pronghorn.
My wife, Karen, and I were driving to Coeur d'Alene to spend a weekend. We went up to Coeur d'Alene and saw a painted art project. Karen remarked to me and said, well, what would keep us from doing something like this in Rollins? And I said, nothing. We can do this. So immediately we thought, well, what animal would we do to have painted art? And it's just obvious that the pronghorn was the animal that we should promote because it's the predominant animal in this part of the country.
We've done our part versus the Day Festival, and Pronghorn Pride have done the painted pronghorns for the last 3 years. And we have combined the event. We have a parade, we have vendors downtown, just a good old time.
People like to live here, like to come here because of recreation. Outdoor Life, just within the last week, has identified this area as a #3 outdoor recreation spot in the United States. That has to do certainly a lot with the fact that we have wildlife, and pronghorn have a lot to do with that.
If you look across all the cities of Wyoming along Interstate 80, almost all the cities have sustained growth in the last 30 years. Almost every one of them has a visitor center of some sort.
We don't have a facility or project here like that today, so it'd be something new, something that would be a new experience for those that are traveling through as well as the local residents.
Working with Tim Belton of Malone, Belton and Abel is great. Tim has been in Wyoming a long time, knows the essence of how to promote Wyoming and how to put a visitor center. He's done many visitor centers, and it's just a great working relationship with Tim because he can anticipate a lot of our needs and be able to make a truly great exhibit inside of a visitor center.
Architecture is more than just creating buildings. It's about creating places for people, and so one of the most important things is to find out the backstory for the building that somebody might want us to design.
The Pronghorn Committee is looking at the purchase of real estate in order to house and occupy not only the Pronghorn Center, but something a bit larger that would house a visitor center, as well as that there might be other organizations or firms that might like to be involved in it as well.
Obviously, the new building had a lot of appeal, but one of the things about taking an existing building and making it a viable entity is exciting from the standpoint of this is a building that's been empty for a number of years. It takes that potentially unused piece of ground, which is a great place. It has a great visibility from the highway. It has an intersection of Highway 287 and I-80.
I initially thought, well, that's not going to be as interesting a project. And then I saw the building, and I saw the fact that it was in an incredibly perfect place off of I-80 for people going from the east to the west who wanted to get to Yellowstone. They would be going right by it, and it's all location, as we know. And all of a sudden, the building started to be something pretty special.
It fits very uniquely into our business plan in that we have ability to rent space to help fund the center. Our intention with our business plan is that we'll be self-sustaining. We have a number of ways to fund ourselves. Some is from the rent of the space there. Some of it is from the development of the wind and solar power, that we'll have energy that we can not only sell back to the utility but also get, offset additional or be able to obtain additional rents from the renters. and make it profitable for them. But we also have a unique aspect of merchandising with our gift shop. We'll have a small charge to go through the exhibit. Those things together with our ability to offset our utilities with power generation and solar power, our business plan shows that we'll be financially viable.
The fact that Rawlins is in a very windy area means that there's wind all the time. The wind blows the snow off the sage. The pronghorn need to have the wind blown off the sage in order to survive. And so wind is, in effect, of the essence for the pronghorn, therefore for the project. So to have a twofer and get a symbolic feature that also is actually contributing to the long-term maintenance of the building, because you don't have to pay for that energy. It's just a great combination.
Well, this project contains a whole lot of positives. I think it contains no negatives. I can't imagine or think of what the negatives would be.
The impact of the National Pronghorn Interpretive and Visitor Center will actually bring bodies into Carbon County. It'll actually increase economic development in Carbon County, and it'll get people off I-80 and show them our great county and town.
It would probably increase our visitorship up to like 80,000 in a summer season.
It will provide a service and a product that isn't here today and hasn't ever been here today from the point of view of the Pronghorn Center and from a visitor center.
Look at the visitor centers along both I-80 and I-70. We've done research on this. Almost every visitor center has visitation greater than between 100 and 150,000 people a year. To have that sort of visitation brought into your town and detain them for a short period of time results in great economic benefit. There's been studies done in Nebraska about how if you can detain somebody even 30 minutes, they will spend a significant amount of money in your time, whether it's for gas, whether it's for food, whether it's to buy something to commemorate their visit. All these things will contribute to the economic viability of the community.
Oh, this project will have a ripple effect with respect to other businesses and industries that might be new that could come to this market.
We're the heart of pronghorn habitat, and so I think there's a great opportunity to raise the awareness of pronghorn as a unique critter, and also all the habitats and the various habitats that Wyoming supports that are so important.
Outside of Carbon County, there's probably not a lot of knowledge of our group at this point, but doing this film is to help raise that awareness and get people that are significant in Wyoming history to see the significance of this venture.